Guruji, BKS Iyengar, left his body on the 20th of August. For that reason, every month on the 20th, for 1 year, the center has decided to do something on every 20th in his memory. So this month, which means today, we will be watching a video, a film titled Yoganushasanam, which is the first sutra of Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. In a way, it is an introduction. It is the first class that happened during the intensive course with Gitaji, Guruji's daughter, which took place between the 1st December and the 10th December. In this introductory talk, Gitaji talks about how to prepare the body and the lungs for pranayama through standing postures. And this is a very important idea because many people start practicing pranayama before correctly preparing themselves. And that can be very harmful. In fact, Yogi Swatmarama in his Hatha Yoga Pradipika, he states beautifully that prana is like a tiger, like an elephant, a wild elephant. You have to tame it very carefully. You have to bring it under control very carefully. If a person starts playing with it without understanding properly what he is doing, then the same thing happens to that person. What can happen to someone who would start trying to play with these creatures, with these wild creatures? You can just imagine what will happen. And that is the reason many times people don't realize this and they start playing with the prana, and which then creates problems, and then they say, well, they have to go to the doctor tells them, because you did pranayama this and that, and then yoga gets the bad name for that, though the reason was they didn't know what they were doing. So an introduction is very important. Patanjali in his Yoga Sutra, when he speaks of pranayama, he uses this specific word, tasmin sati, which means, first of all, he talks about the asanas, and then he talks about mastering them. And he specifically then uses the word tasmin sati. After that has been mastered, after that, then a person should practice pranayama. So these are the sort of discussions that we will hear today from Gitaji's. Gitaji will be explaining these things, and then we will also see the first class of this event, which is deeply insightful. So thank you very much for being here. And it is in this talk that she took the opportunity and shared her as the eldest daughter, the eldest child of Guruji, to talk about him in this, which was very insightful. It was amazing, I mean, out of these thousands of people, how she could pinpoint one particular person. Hey, yellow t-shirt. That is now how I understand Mataji. Hey, white t-shirt. So that comes from there. And yeah, then out of these thousands of people, she actually guides her way to take care of one person who was not able to do it, so to bring a chair for that person. I think this is unique to Iyengar Yoga, where the teacher takes full responsibility of and it's amazing that you can have all these hundreds and thousands of people under your view and be careful and see what they are doing, which gives us a feeling as students. It gives us a tremendous feeling of safety in the presence of our teacher. She used many Sanskrit words in the beginning, and I don't think that I'll take the opportunity to clarify each one of these words. We anyway discuss of all these things in our philosophy classes. What I really loved about this event was that she included a prayer from the Upanishads, which is what we are doing these days, and the Shanti mantra indeed was very beautiful, which she included to it. It is the Shanti mantra which talks about a very deep internal, having a deep internal relationship with our teacher, with our master, which is what helps us to evolve. One of the words that she used, and because it's part of the discussions that we were having in our previous Upanishad classes about samskara, she used the word yoga samskara. The samskara, the subliminal impressions that a person creates by practicing yoga. And this is a word that, as she referred, has been used in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. And the whole practice of yoga is cultivating this yoga samskara in one's life and getting rid of what they call ayoga samskara or non-yoga samskaras. What is the difference between someone who cannot drive a cycle and then after a few days he can suddenly ride it? What has happened? He has created that samskara, that subtle impression within him, and suddenly he's capable, and one day he's capable of riding it without even holding the handle, which is amazing. So that is what yoga samskara is about. Today with us we have Maria. She was one of the last persons to interview Guruji. She was present at this Yoganushasanam. Last time we heard from Marcus about his experience with Guruji during their interview. This time we want to hear that from you, your experience with Guruji.
We just came from a trip in Tamil Nadu where we visited many temples and few ashrams. We visited Ramana Maharishi ashram and Sri Aurobindo ashram, and we bought many books, which few of them I read, and there was very, I didn't have so much time to read all of them because 30 books we got there. So. But what was interesting there, what Sri Aurobindo said, that the fear is like worse than any disease, and that fear can be established in the mental, vital, and physical body, in the cells of the physical body. So then he say also that nobody who has fear shouldn't even approach yoga. So that's where I get a little bit confused. How do we eradicate the fear from the cells of our physical body if we shouldn't approach even yoga? So that's why I rush back to my own practice and to Shadevi Yoga Hall. Because I practice, like many of you, Ashtanga Yoga in its evolutionary method that Guruji BKS Iyengar invented. He invented a very specific methodology of how you approach the yoga in its pure form, and how each and everybody with whichever abilities can actually go with very detailed instruction from the skin through the muscular skeletal system, through the organic body, to the cells themselves. So I'm not here to speak about that one. I really want to share with you my emotional experience, or one of the best experiences I had in my life in the March 2014 when I had the interview with BKS Iyengar in Pune. And while preparing myself for this interview, I could feel very clearly how I'm overwhelmed with different emotions, like fear from mistake, anxiety, overjoyed, like thousands of the emotions that just drove me like I was on the roller coaster. And then that moment came, and I sit in front of Guruji and I look in his eyes, and I felt somehow completely elevated from the sitting bones to the crown of the head, with all the instruction of the side, front, back side of the body. And I was amazingly calm and without any feelings which are related to past or which are worries of the future, no any fear, no any, even the questions that I was preparing for so long, I completely forgot. I was like completely like his eyes has a gravitation which kept me so full without any ego, mind trip. And he gave an interview, he answered my question for 60 minutes, and once the interview finished, me and Marcus, we went back to the room, we float above the ground. We were very quiet, and then we rushed to play this video, and I was in shock to see myself. Without those who knows me know that I'm very expressive and show this and that, and one teacher just said that in Pune, you remember Usha, how on her body and on her face every emotion is seen. So I'm like that. But there, I was like really like this, and completely it was shocking for me to see myself like that. And more shocking thing was about Marcus. Marcus is my German, a little bit stiff in expression, but there, in front of Guruji, he was all over with his hands, constantly laughing like this, and all the time moving his head. Like Guruji was telling us funny stories, which was not the case, you know. And then once we saw this, he said, "Oh, I'm so ashamed. It shouldn't be. He shouldn't behave like that in front of Guruji." And I said, "Oh, I'm so proud. I behaved so nice." And then we saw that shame and pride took place, which didn't happen in front of Guruji, because there we got exactly what the power of Guru means. We got exactly the state which we may be lacking in us. Me a little bit of calmness and steadiness, and he a little bit of expression or loose showing of the feelings. So this feeling after Guruji interview lasted for the next 7 days. We were like really thrilled, and that is not expressible with words. I am coming from Serbia. Serbia is a country which gave also one of the greatest scientists of all time. His name is Nikola Tesla. He was the one who invented the electrical current and provided that it can flow and run all over the planet in abundance for everybody. So did the BKS Iyengar, who invented the method where the electric current can flow and touch every cell of us, at least one of us who are practicing. So I also need to say that all my gratitude and deep love, you see, emotional disturbance, yes. Guruji said, he said in, I think, first of the answers, he said like this to me: 99.5% of the people are living by their emotions. And he looked at me and I was like, oh, he's saying about me. No, he is telling because we people are lived by our emotions. And he said that only yoga can make us emotionally stable. So all my gratitude and love from the bottom, left, right, and upper part of my body goes to Usha Devi Mataji, who had amazing talent like a teacher to make a persistence in me to practice so I can experience yoga, which is like love as well. And to her also, because through her we can still receive the Guruji's teaching in its pure form. So thank you.
माता पिता तुम मेरे शरण रहूं मैं किस करूं मैं किसकी ओम जय जगदीश हरे तुम पूर्ण परमात्मा तुम अंतर्यामी स्वामी तुम अंतर्यामी आर्य ब्रह्म परमेश्वर आर्य ब्रह्म परमेश्वर
सकलकलुषभङ्गे स्वर्गसोपानसङ्गे तरल कर तरङ्गे देवी गङ्गे प्रसीद तरल तर तरङ्गे देवी गङ्गे प्रसीद भगवती गंगा देवी नमो नमः दीपदानं समर्पयामि